Alrighty, folks. Getting started here with the Trade Ideas Q&A live stream. Anybody with questions right away, please get those in. Do not hesitate. If not, we'll just hang out for a few moments here, let people pile in. I guess I'll figure something out to talk about. So again, anybody that's jumping in here right away, don't be shy. Get your questions in. If not, give it another few seconds. Let more people pile in here before we rock and roll with anything else. Good morning to you as well. Just cracked to the afternoon now here on the East Coast of U.S. So, all right, let's, there's no questions coming in. Figure something out here, I guess. But again, anybody with questions, don't be shy. Please get those questions in for us or for me. B+ orders are not showing up on their charts like they used to. All right. Niv, shoot an email into info@trade-ideas.com. If there's any way you could get a screen recording of, showing the orders in the, in Brokerage Plus, but not on the charts, that would be helpful for me here. If you could get some kind of screen recording, I'd prefer screen recording, but if it's just screenshots, if you can show what's here for orders, and then on the charts, them not being there, with making sure that on property, show orders is checked, and then whether you have all orders live, whatever's supposed to be relevant here, done like that. And I will ship it off to the developers. How to utilize trailing stop within the strategies tab of Brokerage Plus. Yeah, you come in here and back Brokerage Plus. And you come into the strategies and go to risk management. Make sure you check the trailing stop. How you want to do that here. Note you cannot have a trailing stop and a stop loss at the same time. It's not possible. You couldn't do that in your broker, so you can't do it here. And then for API reasons, you got to be going in with a limit order, not a market order here. And that should really do it. Just make sure on the trailing stop, don't do something that's unreasonable, like put in a 0.1 stop or something like that, right? And you get consider spread and things like that. If 1% is far enough away, maybe 2%, but that's how you use the trailing stop. All right, other questions for me, let me know. Curious here. I think I can set that from here like that. Sorry, there's this new trading feature that we discussed last week off the charts here that will be coming to you folks in the next few weeks here. I don't think there's a way to set a trailing stop from that, so I was trying to check it out, see if there was, but I didn't think there was, but I'm pretty sure there is not. And again, anybody with questions, don't be shy. Get those in for me, please. See something here. Again, folks, don't be shy. Get those questions in for me, please. I'm one from all with the questions. Again, everybody, don't be shy. If you got questions, please get those in for me. Oh, that could be a problem. How can you copy a whole page from the channel bar? I don't know what you mean, Iris. If you can elaborate a little bit there on that. So I made a stock list over the weekend, like 17 symbols, but I'm having trouble getting the list into a top list. So what you need to do is this for that, you'd come into tools, options. Nope, I'm sorry, tools, symbols list. Create your symbols list in here, create a new list, whatever it is. Then once you've created that list, you're going to want to go to new top list window and make sure there's no filters being used in that whatsoever. It's a blank top list window. Then you come to symbol list, add existing list. These are alphabetical, so you'll add your list from here, whatever it's called. You put it in, then you put a check mark here, and make sure it's on only the following lists, and it'll only look at those lists just like that. And that's how you do that travel show. What do I think on that Webull SPAC merger bull? I don't know what you're talking about, so I'm sorry. I have no comment on it. I don't know what it is, what that means. I know Weeble's a broker, but I don't know anything about them other than they exist. And if they have a merger, I wouldn't know anything about that. So I'm sorry. No, can make no comment on it. I'm trying to create a new layout with the sector page from channel. All right. Well, Iris, the first thing I'm going to tell you, given how many times you have saved 600,000 scans to your layout and then had issues because of it, please first be careful, right? Um, you save too many things on it, your layout's going to freak out and you're going to run into those issues you have in the past. As far as saving things from a channel, I mean, you can open a dock channel bar here and find the sector status. We'll shrink this down a bit. And then you can take whichever one of these that you want in here and you could right click it, go to duplicate. So it's out in a free floating window, right click, save or share to cloud, save it. And then you will come to, when you open your next layout that you're looking to load those things into that you created, that you saved to the cloud, file, load from cloud, and it'll be there and you'll load it just like that. There it will be. So that's what you would do there. Which lots to delete here. Is there a way to copy the whole page? There is, but again, there's limits. If you're trying to load an entire layout into another layout, it's not going to be good results for your computer and the system, right? It's not going to work well. You're going to run into performance issues. But sure, let's show you how to do that. So you'd open, I don't even need to open anything. So whatever you have open, go to File, Save or Share to Cloud, click Entire Layout. No, don't click Entire Layout. File, Save or Share to Cloud, put a check mark in the boxes of everything you want saved that you want to load into the other layout. Have your mega ultra big layout. Once you've done that, label it here, whatever you want to call it, and then press save. And then you'll find it under File, Load from Cloud, and it'll be right there just like that. Again, remember, there's limitations to how much stuff you can have on the screen at once. If you're putting up 15 alert windows, 6 top lists, 14 charts, you're going to run into a problem. It's just that simple. Mike, see what's happening. USAR. That looks like it's one that's the leader on the races today. Newer issue. Yeah, this thing has got some hefty price action going on it, and the volume has stayed up most of the day here even. Good stuff. You're welcome, Iris. Iris, just be careful, right? There's limitations to what the software can do and how many windows you can have open. And those limitations, they're not set to 5 alert windows is too much. It depends on what the alert windows are doing, how many columns are in them, how many alerts are selected, things like that. And it's the same thing with top lists. So there's no one, this is too much. The way to test would be to slowly add things instead of adding, 8 windows at once. Add 1 window, see how the system reacts over a few minutes. Add another window, see how the system reacts over a few minutes. No hard drinking over here. And kind of still sitting on my hands for the most part before I really take any any sizable positions at this point. I want to see some follow through days on the market before I'm getting really involved in much of anything. And today ain't no follow through day so far. I mean, we see a rebound here. I may take something into the overnight, but you know, sell off, bounce, back down, you know, slight engulfing candle there, bullish engulfing, but then a gap up and a fade today. So we'll see if it can't find itself a base here at that high from Friday. That seems like a spot that the bulls might be able to dig themselves in. If so, I will be a buyer of some things at the close. When I go to new top list, mine looks different than yours. The heading on mine says configure your strategy. Make sure that you've got use advanced configure window. You probably might have to click that down here. So look for that down there on their travel show. Oh, you're talking about the bull chart. I'm sorry. I thought, okay, what was that wee bull? Because I saw the wee bull it said there, SPAC merger. So I thought it was Webull was merging with someone. No, we could look at that chart. Give me a second there. Apologies, my misunderstanding. LL. Okay. Do whatever you want, system. Yeah, so I don't have this. Probably has on other platforms the de-SPACed data or the SPAC data, and now it's de-SPACed. We don't have it here like that. So, look, this thing's off to the races. You know, what do we got here? So you got this day back here. I guess that's on Friday. They went live or public, de-SPACed. So I mean, this is tough. These huge candles. We're in a crazy environment. Like you take 100 shares of this. Let's say you got 100 shares at right here, and all of a sudden it drops $4 on you, down $400 just like that. Flip side, took 100 shares back here on this candle. You were up about $400. So, when you've got huge swings like that, that's tough for me personally. But for those, they've got a system to trade it well like that. I mean, these are the ones that could reward you big time without any question. I don't have that kind of risk appetite personally, but that's because I've come from a very hard place where I had to scrape and save and fight for every penny to even start an account for trading. And it wasn't like once I started, oh, here we go, we're making all this money. So the stocks like this, I think I can hand back too much money too fast. The risk and the reward just don't work for me for my accounts at this time. After I win the Mega Millions, of course, I'll be trading stuff like this all the time. Hey, Perfect Circle, what's up? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, contrarian or not contrarian. I'm just gonna, I want to see a follow through day here, right? Or maybe a follow through 2 days. But for the moment, we're not really. I mean, I guess you could argue that the fact that we're up today right now, and let's just say the market closed right here, you'll have people argue this was a follow through day. It's a weak follow through day. I mean, to gap up like that and then trade down and trade back up and not be able to take out the high of the day and then really get rejected pretty solidly off that. You know, I don't want to be overly conservative personally. I mean, hindsight's 2020, right? Oh, imagine if I bought down here around 500. I mean, you're still up 37 points at that, but there's no way to predict that these things were going to go on, right? You get this massive day where it just kept running and running and running. I guess that was what was that? So it's Friday. Thursday, was on Wednesday. This massive day was just running Wednesday, right? But I mean, pretty sizable gap down and trade down on Thursday. And while you got a big bottoming shadow, again, no way to know what this price action is going to be where it's jumping all over. So putting a lot of money to risk without any real trend or anything like that. We're just really moving on headlines at this point. And then lack of headlines, I guess. So, we're back here again, drilling in a little more on that SPY chart. This is a tough area for it to get through here, probably around that 35.38, give or take. So it's banging in this area right here, stuck in this range. Let's see how it resolves itself. So again, anybody have questions? Fire those in. Don't be shy. Got questions on the software? The scan here. Let me get it out of this tree map for a moment. This was all, it's still pretty close. A lot of gold and gold miners here. Gold, I believe this is gold. Yep. Obviously, the index. More mining. I believe this is more mining. Oh, no, I was wrong there. So a lot of those, but see a few other things that popped in here. Walmart, interestingly enough. I'd say Walmart's held very well, as a matter of fact. Very, very, very well. So, that's one of the other things that I'm looking at here is the fact of what's really on the move to the upside right now. And, mostly miners, mostly gold miners. Few and far in between outside of that, whatever this is. Research and development, biotech stock, I suppose. Yeah, BioNTech. Nothing new on the money machine from my end. Dan should be back on Wednesday, so if there's anything new, I'd pop in here Wednesday. He'll be the one to share that. The only thing I know is, it's close. We keep being told. I've seen some stuff that's, I guess we'll call it an alpha testing because it's not even to the point where I'm testing it yet. So, hopefully we'll see that sooner than later. Oh, sorry. I got caught up before. I was who was it? Was asking about a trailing stop before. Oh, Dylan. So yeah, when you're doing a trailing stop, so I've got a trailing stop in here on this. You can see it's moving up. It started 1267, and you can see here it says trailing stop. Just make sure you do this when you're setting a trailing stop, right? Edit the order here. On the order details, you got to be going in at fixed shares or fixed dollars. You can't do based on stop loss, right? Um, then set your trailing stop percent down here. Make sure you don't have a regular stop there. Yes, you can have a target with a trailing stop without a question. You can set that offset as well, and make sure just set it to a limit order, and then you're good to go. So sorry, I got distracted before by a couple of other things, and I couldn't figure out my orders weren't going through, but because I didn't select the account properly, and I just, like I said, I got distracted with other things, so I apologize for that. Now we can let that order hang out there and we'll watch it. Hopefully tick up unless this thing sails off and comes right back down. I'm 11 cents away from that trailing stop now. And again, folks, don't be shy. Anybody with questions, please get those questions in for me. So, yep, SPY got rejected off that area again. Continuing to move back down. We'll see if it moves back down to this low of the day here. Low of the day of 533.86. So not terribly far off it, given the huge gyrations that we've seen. What else do we have moving here? ORLA. So more gold and silver mining. Good size float on that. Earnings are behind it. Again, don't be shy, folks. Get some questions in here for me, please. All right, no questions coming for me. Fair enough. We got a few things green here today so far, but some of these change from opens ain't looking so hot anymore. Junior gold miners faded a bit. Silver going to be the same thing. K-Web trying to hold up there. The consumer staples over the past year here. What a set of moves, right? What a set of moves from that, huh? Alrighty. Keep seeing the tan pop up over the last week or so. But yeah, I mean, long term, look at this thing. Definition of a falling knife right there. Poor solar stocks. Real estate. Real estate not looking too hot right now. Utilities, the Utes. Really just kind of plodding along sideways for the most part. Look at some REITs. They're taking a real big hit off the top there. It's the FXI from China, the large cap China ETF. Interesting here. Move up and come right back down and tested that level. Trying to bounce and use that level as support now. The XLF is one thing I've continued to keep my eye on here. This was among the last to really roll over before the major selling started. So, we'll want to see that healthy. Definitely want to see that healthy for the bulls. Gas and oil exploration just continues to downtrot over the last year, really coming out, in the last week here, really impacted by the overall market. And one thing that a lot of people don't understand is that, as gas and oil prices fall, companies won't explore for more of it because of the cost. So you see these things happen here. You obviously see the rebound in price. That's where you may see a rebound here, but this can lag the rebound in price with that. I've noticed over the years. SOX semiconductors really beat up in the last year now. Nice move up, and then things started getting wobbly. Stuck down here in this lower range. We're really giving it up. SMH, I'd imagine, is no different. Yeah, it looks more than less the same. Yeah, we'll see. That fine line, right? Trying to be patient, but not patient to the point where you're like, oh, I'm going to find the bottom, but patient to decide that, you know what? I'm ready to be a participator here, regardless that we may make a move down still. And again, don't be shy, folks. If someone's got a question for me, love to hear your question. Love to answer it. How to thin VIX indicator. I'm guessing you're trying to say how to find. We don't have the VIX in here. The closest you could do is the VXX. That's going to be your best bet. Not the greatest, but it'll work. What you can't do with the VXX is, a long-term look back on it because of decay. So yeah, you want to use the VXX for that. And just make sure if you're trying to use it in a scan, it's under the BATS, the BATS. So if you're trying to look for it in a scan, that's not what I want to do. Come to the configure, go to exchanges, and just make sure the BATS is selected. Otherwise, you won't see it in the scan. Also, a general rule of thumb is you don't do technical analysis on the VIX, but that's for each individual to decide if that's right for them or not. But it's an ongoing thing, and most of the technical analysis community that it's taboo to do technical analysis on the VIX. So don't be shy, folks. We got about 20 minutes before I wrap up here. If you got more questions, please get those in for me. I'm more than happy to answer those. You see, a very healthy number of people watching between Twitter and YouTube. So here to help, here to answer questions on Trade Ideas software. Rivian. Yeah, this thing isn't as beat up as it could be from the recent market volatility, to be honest. Not a great looking chart, obviously, especially over the last year, that downtrend right there. But all the same, this could look a lot worse than it does, to be honest. And yeah, so I just want to make sure, that you heard me. The VXX, that's how you try to track the VIX. So I just want to make sure that you heard me on that there. So you put it in a second time. This would be the closest that we have within the software to track that. It's the VXX. RLA. This thing's still grinding higher right now. Looking at this earlier today. Again, folks, don't be shy. If you got questions for me, please get those in. Get those in. Excellent, excellent. Glad we got that. Just want to make sure you got that. Sometimes sound isn't coming through or some kind of misunderstanding. So I just want to make sure that I got you that relevant information for you. Excellent. Thank you. There's another gold miner. A lot of gold mining going on right now. Heavy duty into the gold mining is the market right now. Let's see if that trade continues. You get a market like this, and you'll find whatever's working becomes a very crowded trade very quickly, and the early in people will also be the early out people. The question is, how early is the out, right? And the question is, when does it become a crowded trade? Look at something like this. Now, this is why I wish we had log charts here, because a log chart would have this looking different than it does right now. Can you add anchored view app? You can draw an anchored view app on your charts. You should see an anchor here that looks like that. If you click on it, you can draw the anchored view app from the candle you want it from. So you see a purple line that just came in here for me. If that's what you're looking for. If you're asking about the anchored VWAP scans. That's an add-on product to subscribe to in addition to whether you're a standard or a premium user. But yeah, you can add an anchored VWAP to the chart. Again, you just click on the anchor, find the candle you want, and you can see how it's drawn that purple line right there. Sand halted? Nope, not halted. You see it moving right here. Just not trading a whole lot, or well, I should say it's it's not moving in price very quickly. All right, marching on towards that 1 o'clock hour here. BULLZ, is that related to? Yep, related to the Weibo move there. The warrant. Interesting stuff. Yeah, of course. So let me bring up a chart that'll make more sense to do this on. Get a K-Web chart. And if you look, let me circle it up here. We look for that anchor right here. All right, and I go ahead and click on that. Let's see how I get this kind of up and down arrow. I can go ahead and click on the candle I want to use the AVWAP from. I click on that candle, and it will draw AVWAP. And that's how you can use it like that. JNVR. Well, this thing is pretty frisky, it looks like. Not a lot of shares traded, though, to be honest. 600,000, 677,000. That's not a whole lot of shares traded. The spread isn't that huge, though. I thought the spread would be much more than that. It's about a. Well, I lied. I'm sorry, it's $1.10 spread. For 1 second, I thought it was 59.90 and 60. It's 59.90 and 61 is the spread right now. So you got over $1 spread on this thing on top of that. And these 5-minute candles, I mean, you're moving $5, $6 on some of them. So it's a wild one, that's for sure. And there's not a ton of liquidity in this. Also, very small float. So this is the kind of thing where people holding some reasonable share size relative to the float, they start selling, and it just pulls a ripcord on something like this. Like, well, what happened there? On the flip side, though, you're in it at the right time. And people hit that buy button, enough of them. You also get that too. So, look, with the really high risk comes the high rewards too. You just got to ask yourself, or are you A, built like this as a trader, and B, do you have that kind of monetary position to risk? But yeah, this thing isn't moving much at all right now. Small share sizes being taken. Spread's tightened up to 50 cents now, though. PAAS working on a high a day again. This area from back here before a bit of a sell-off. Way below lifetime high, though. So we got a couple of minutes left. Anybody's got any questions before we part ways? Don't be shy. Get those in for me. Looking for the XHB. There it is. Just want to look at the home builders. Oof. Slippery slope on those home builders. Wonder where they might look for some support at this point. Draw a line down here. Well, that seems like an area that could find some support for the homies. It doesn't seem unreasonable. See if prior resistance can become support here. If not, look out below. But things that the bulls want to see is the home builder is strong and the financial strong. Those are two things you want to see if you're a bull. The cornerstones of the overall economy. You don't have those items strong, it's hard to have the rest strong. What has the MDY done recently? Pretty good sell-off on that. Swap back to a daily chart here. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, pretty beat up. Pretty beat up also. This is a equally weighted mid-cap trust here, the MDY. For those keeping score at home. Ah, interesting. All right. I'm not the most up to how do I want to say this? I am not a crypto expert by any stretch of any imagination. You know, I know some of the, larger names in the space. Solana, I know. Obviously, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stuff like that. But I'm not. I am no crypto. I don't even think I'd call myself a crypto novice, to be honest. Ford. There was a period of time I thought Ford was going to do something big. We're going way back though. Back here. I mean, it was quite a move off this here from the lows of 2020 all the way up here. That would, for Ford was it 10 billion in the float? Oh, well, not even only 3.89 billion in the float. Much less than I thought. All the same. I did not expect Ford to collapse afterwards like that, but there we are. There you have it, sports fans, as far as that goes. So, all right, folks, I'm going to begin to shut down for the day here. Nothing else really coming in, so I'm kind of give about a 10-second auctioneer's count in my head of going once, going twice, going three times. If there are any last-minute questions anybody has, get those in for me, please. If not, I think I'll call it a day on this end of things here. And shut us down for the day. You got it, Mike C. Be safe out there. Be safe. Remember, have a plan, trade the plan. I don't think I need to tell you that, but just as a general comment and a general thought for the populace out there, ultra important not to just be throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks, right? You end up in a real bad position. And I'm speaking from experience when I say that. That isn't me talking just to like, oh, don't do anything foolish. No, don't do anything foolish, because I know doing things foolish will put you behind an 8-ball that's just so hard to get back out under from. And doing this for a profession is hard enough without, for me it's hard enough anyways, without me making it harder on myself. I'm sure other folks would agree with that. So, all right, I'm going to shut it down for the day. Thank you all very kindly, and we will see you on the next one. Have a great rest of your Monday, everybody. Take care.